Hello. I'm speaking to you from the front porch at Aloha. This is actually turning into Saturday salutations. It's the second Gotta correct the ums. Let us gotten into this kick of drinking Diet Dr. Pepper. One of my dear students is like, Rev, you're so 1980s. She goes, everything about Aloha is 1980s. It's Casa de Aloha. Here's to the 80s. What can I say? I'm a child of the 80s, right? Those of us who were born in the 60s. It's our rock and roll time, man. Anyway, it's good to be with you. Let us sit. February 4th, 2017. Go ahead and salute yourself, your space, all the things that assisted you to get here. Your will, God's will, other people's talents, food, coffee, tea. The mysterious functioning of your body, your breath, the ever-present reminder of this life and death. Special emphasis on that and. There's this huge raven. Did you hear that? Wings. Solitude. Just a little Gayatri. Sing, saluting the mighty sun and what it represents. It's the heart of the world. Since I was a kid, I've always reflected on it. It's always this, it's the same sun. I mean, it's renewing itself as we are, but it's the same sun that all the masters looked at. I find that incredibly soothing and invigorating and inspiring in times of weariness or doubt or joy. Just go ahead and take a minute. Let's just acknowledge everybody who's suffering in any level of existence. This is a part of my daily prayer I do in the morning when I wake up and at night and sometimes periodically during the day. So I thought I would share that with you. And if you notice, I'm not praying to change anything because we don't know what's best for people. Those kinds of prayers are dangerous. Life is a mini textured thing, huh? So, as you can tell, I'm more, it's time to push away from current events and come back into our big perception, big big, what do you say, hawk's view. And then we'll come back. It's good to push away, come back, push away, come back, especially my role as I'm seen by some people or not. It's important that I not cross too far onto the bridge, because I'm assisting people to bridge the secular with the spiritual. So I walk so far out, and then I have to come back. And that's part of the challenge and part of the joy and the love that I have for what I do. It's a big deal to bridge the secular with the spirit. And that's why it's called practice. Because it's very easy to get pulled into the secular and forget that spiritual practice and mysticism doesn't stop at the human level. So that's all I'll say on that. I think if it doesn't make sense, just reflect on it or forget about it. So I'm going to chat about, interestingly enough, speech. Because there's a lot of it. Especially in our culture. So it's sort of how I corrected myself earlier. I said 2 ums. I probably already said more 2 ums. But being perceptive and conscious of our speech is highlighted as very important in all mystical traditions, regardless of origin. In other words, whether it's Christian, the Kabbalah, Judaism, Sufism, or the Tantra, the sacred mystic heart of all religions. They all have a name. But they all really stress the importance of being conscious and aware of one's speech. I'm gonna speak to a beautiful quote from Emerson. I found this lovely little book. Oh my God! I about crapped my pants in the library. You know, they have the little book sales they have at libraries once in a while. This little baby jumped out. I've always loved little baby books. I've inherited it from my mother, who's dead. By the way, her urn's right over there. Hey, Madre, I found a little baby book. It's precious. Emerson on Man and God. Waldo. Thank you, Waldo. So here's what Waldo Emerson, the great Americano, one of my American heroes. Where was it? Oh, yes. Only so much as I know, as I have lived. Instantly, we know whose words are loaded with life and whose not. Oh, man. In other words, we reveal everything by how we speak. The words we speak, the tone, what we don't say, And this is from James, the Bible. This is chapter 2 of James, for those who are interested. Verse 5 through 10. No, yes, through 10. All that there. Okay. Even so, the tongue is a little member and boasts great things. Likewise, a small fire sets ablaze large forests. It's funny, isn't it? The tongue is a fire and the single world of forest. That very tongue, while it is among our members, can defile our whole body and set on fire the course of our race, which has rolled down from the beginning, and in the end is consumed by fire. For every kind of beasts, and of birds, and of creatures of the sea, and of the land are under the subjugation of the will of man. But the tongue no man can tame. It is an unruly evil, full of deadly poison. We got a drive-by on that one. By it we bless the Lord and the Father, God, and by it we curse men who are made in the image of God. This is verse 9, chapter 2. By it we bless the Lord and the Father, God. And by it we curse men who are made in the image of God. Out of the same mouth proceed curses and blessings. My brethren, these things ought not to be. Can there spring forth from the same fountain both sweet water and bitter water? Can the fig tree, my brethren, bear olives, or the vine figs? Likewise also salt water cannot be made sweet. Who is wise among you who has training? Let him prove his words by his good deeds in the humbleness of wisdom. But if you have bitter envying among you, or strife in your hearts, do not boast and do not lie against the truth. That's what Waldo said, Master Waldo, right? Words are fine and dandy, but what have you done? What are your actions? I mean, it's cliche, right? Actions speak louder than words. Oh my God. Wonderful. Thank God. Thank God. Did you say that's all I'm speaking of this? Yes. Oh, leave that there because I need to finish with that. One of the reasons I'm recording this Saturday is I'm taking a personal solitude retreat tomorrow with oneself. So I'm inviting you to do the same to the best of, what do you say? To the best of your ability. If you can do a whole day of silent solitude, great. I know some of you have critters, human critters and furry critters. Do an hour, do a couple hours. That was the other great thing about Emerson. I hope I marked that correctly there. I trust I did, I should say. Yes, I did. Thank you, God. And I just wrote back, Heather, I wrote you back about your comment on last week's salutation. And I just invited everyone, and through that, answering her around the secular and the spiritual, the constant reflection on that I'm advocating, especially during current times. Solitude, reflection and solitude, taking a break from the conversing, taking a break from the processing, the talking, the watching, the commenting. Very healthy, because sometimes and oftentimes if you create that space, you will have divine inspiration, and understanding will be bestowed on you in a way that will open your mind and heart, which is always a blessing for the world. This is Meister Eckhart, who was from the 12th century, Europe, German man who was a Dominican monk, great mystic, fantastic mystic. I love this. Let's see. There's two really short poems by Meister Eckhart. That's Meister is in German, Meister, Meister. He was like the 1210-ish type time. I'm going to give you the exact dates. Pardon me. He's one of my heroes. Well, I said it right. All these, they're all my heroes. 1260 to 1328. Brilliant man. When he died, Meister Eckhart, the church, he pushed the line with the church because of his poems and his deep, sensual, tangible way of speaking of God and his relationship with God, which at the time was close to being called heresy. Every religion goes through its metamorphosis. It's just the nature of the beast on this planet. But he was a mystic, which is why the church, the more secular, the religion is more secular than mysticism. That gives you a clue why I keep hammering at it. And it's not a problem. So every time I say that, the underlying thing always is not a problem. It's just the truth. Anywho, he had deep radical insights, and they destroyed a lot of his work because he also was prolific essays and books and jazz. But as things come around, he was rediscovered in 1980, and the church now recognizes him as a exemplary Christian mystic and priest. You know, so the church is a living body. The religion is a living body that goes through its own evolution of, you know, immaturity, naivete, zealousness, and then it comes around. So remember that as things evolve here. Just as you are evolving, so the things in the world are. And this is like crazy paradox. I know I'm driving you crazy with this. Maybe not. Maybe you're having fun. I am. Things change and things don't change, right? So the whole idea of evolution is sort of funny. Just sit with the nuttiness with it. Okay, here we go. Here's Meister Eckhart. Please be inspired as you see fit. An image that makes them sad. This is the name of the poem. An image that makes them sad. How long will grown men and women in this world keep drawing in their coloring books an image of God that makes them sad? This is in 1260, man. An image that makes them sad. How long will grown men and women in this world keep drawing in their coloring books an image of God that makes them sad? Check out this little ditty. It is a lie. It is a lie. Any talk of God that does not comfort you. It is a lie. It is a lie. Any talk of God that doesn't comfort you. I'll end with Uncle Waldo. This is also my answer to anybody who wants to have definitive answers to things from the secular point of view. You can't when you're dealing with mysticism or the mystical, which is why I say the mystic understands the secular, but the secular often struggles with understanding the mystic because they're seeing the world from completely different points of view, which is not a problem. The mystic has more of a responsibility because of that, and has to dig a deeper well of humility, because it's not unlike the Bodhisattva oath. So it's not an easier road by any stretch. It's just more interesting. Two last things. This is again Uncle Waldo, my cute new book. They actually made books back then, right? This was printed. It's the proper way to say it. My gosh, 1961. Hey, the 60s. Here's Uncle Waldo. I could not possibly give you one of the arguments you cruelly hint at on which any doctrine of mine stands. It's a theme for our chat today. For I do not know what arguments mean in reference to any expression of a thought. I delight in telling what I think, but if you ask how I dare say so, or why it is so, I am the most helpless of mortal men. And on this I'll leave you. To go into solitude, a man needs to retire as much from his chamber as from society. I am not solitary whilst I read and write, though nobody is with me. But if a man would be alone, let him look at the stars. So there's alone and then there's alone. In other words, solitude is solitude, and I highly recommend it as you can squeeze it in, or do it with me tomorrow. Another day in paradise. Aloha. Bye. Oh, glasses have to go on to see that.